below. Good morning, everyone. I trust you had a wonderful night rest. And I trust we are all prepared for today's session, as we want to go into our expectations in the market today. Okay, sorry, it's noisy. How about now? Is it okay now? Please kindly confirm that the sound quality is okay now, please. Oh, good morning, Rafa. Euro USD. Yes, we are going to look at Euro USD. I promise you that one. Oibafo, hi, how are you? Please kindly confirm that the sound quality is okay by saying okay in the comment section. Okay, that will get better, I promise. So with no much further ado, let us kickstart today with the pairs we talked about yesterday. If we remember vividly, during the course of yesterday's session, we had speculations on GBPAUD. Are you in that trade? GBPAUD is already in profit already, and I'm having 3 positions running with this. I have the first one here, which is around 60 pips. Then the second one around this area, which is around 50 pips thereabout, and the third one right at this point, which is around 30 pips in profit at this point. So are you in that trade? Is anyone in this trade? Okay. And also we talked about GBPCAD too as well yesterday, and GBPCAD is still running very slow, but one position is already in, and we are still looking at the expectation of a downtrend continuation as we continue to see multiple rejection of 1.60400 level since last night. As we can see, we continue to see that rejection, though we had this hammer candle, but I'm still thinking price will still be going downward. So let us keep our hopes high on the GBPCAD. Now we talked about UKOil yesterday as well, and we were right at this area when we talked about the UKOil, and we were saying that we were expecting that this will probably be a reversal pattern in the form of a double bottom, where we look for breakout of structure, a retest to confirm our trend continuation to the upside. And I said that despite the fact that we are in a demand zone, we will be looking for structures that will negate that. And I said if we see a breakdown of this key level, a retest of that key level a breakdown of that demand zone and a retest of that demand zone with signs that confirms that a trend condition to the downside is very possible comes up, then we can actually take a downtrend. However, we had our entry point if the sell opportunity happens around this area, but as you can see, even though we had one rejection, if you actually took that trade, you probably have broken even, because once price moved this far, you would have moved your stop loss to break even at this point, considering the fact that we're expecting a long-term bullish momentum on this one. And now price is right back at our key level at this point. As you can see, we have a structure that looks more like this, and price is back into that key level we identify. So what is going to happen? Are we going to have a trend continuation to the downside, or we are going to have a breakout of structure? That we can tell at this point. But if we go closer into the 3 hours time frame, let me see what's happening on the 3 hours time frame, or let's go to the daily, probably most preferably. If we look at what's happening on the daily time frame, well, it is pertinent that we state this, that we are still within a demand zone, and this area has a tendency of pushing price up, and it is pertinent that we put into consideration that we are right on a bullish trend line, and this area is a very, very sensitive area, as anything can actually happen at this point. A breakdown can happen, a breakdown retest and same price crashing is very, very possible at this point. However, if we want to be going uptrend on this one, we really need to look for real good confirmations that will confirm that price is actually going up. So scaling down to 4 hours, let's see what's happening on the 4 hours. Okay, on the 4 hours time frame, we have something that looks more like this, and we have an impulse leg which we can work with. You can see what happened since the 5th of May. We saw price do a bearish impulse leg into 101.38, after which we started seeing consolidation phases that wants to look more like a reversal pattern. That is, it looks more like an inverse head and shoulder, not until when we have the formation of the right shoulder around this area, then a breakout of structure, a retest into structure, and confirmation to the upside. So on the UK oil here, there is a possibility that there are two possibilities. In summary, we have possibility that price might break down this trend line, retest, and send price crashing down, and at the same time we have a scenario where we remain patient and await the confirmation, the signal of a bullish momentum, probably after the formation of the complete formation of the inverse head and shoulder pattern, where we'll see a breakout of structure giving us a signal, then a retest of structure which will give us a confirmation to the upside. So any way you want to be trading this, you will definitely want to be very, very careful and look for ways around maximizing the advantage if it finally shows up. So on the much lower time frame, that's on the 15 minutes time frame, well, we have a bearish trend line, and that's right on that impulse leg we identified on the higher time frame. We have a bearish trend line, something that looks more like this, and we have that breakout of structure around this area, giving us a signal that the bullish momentum, as you can see, that the bearish trend line was holding price for some time. As you can see, price continued to reject that trend line, not until later on this morning, where we saw that breakout of structure, and then we might be looking for a retest into structure to confirm a trend continuation to the upside. So on the lower time frame, we might be looking forward to, on lower time frame, the possibility of a downtrend is there, and the possibility of an uptrend is also there as well. But the possibility of an uptrend will only be applicable if we see a breakout of that key level we identified on 105.5, I think 106 thereabout, and we look for a retest to confirm the trend continuation to the upside. So if you're looking at the lower time frame, the bearish momentum is still there, and if we really want to take a bearish, it could be short term, in the sense that I identified this trend line around here. If we give it a red color, and if we give it a red color, we break down a retest, then you want to sell. So that means we might be having our entry point right around here, which is something like this. That's if you want to sell. And then we have our stop loss right above that key level, a little above that key level. So we will be waiting for a signal in the form of a breakdown of this bullish trend line, a retest into key level or trend line thereabout, then we send price crashing to the downside. So sorry, I want to adjust this entry point to somewhere around here. So that is that on this one. And if price is going to be going bullish, then we want to be waiting for the breakout of that key level, something like this, and then a retest of that key level where we'll be setting price will be setting itself to an uptrend continuation. And it is very pertinent that I state here that our take profit target for any bullish momentum at this point should be within that 112 area, or the supply zone, which we can see in the past as being a level where sellers have been rejecting price action for some time. So that is that on the UK oil. Hello Scotta Benji, how are you? Okay, good morning. So that is that on the UK oil, and then we talked about EURJPY yesterday too as well. But with the situation we have here, EURJPY is not yielding as expected, as we continue to see multiple rejections of this 137.400 area, giving us a scenario that sellers are still very strong at this point. So we still want to be waiting for this move to the upside, a retest of structure to confirm that bullish momentum on the EURJPY. So on EURJPY we are still on hold, and you will be saying, why can't we take the sell opportunity? Well, if we look at what's happening on the higher time frame, that is looking from a long-term perspective, we can see that the euro has been strong against the JPY for some time. And if we look closely into what has been happening since the later part of last month, we will notice that price action has been within has been oscillating right above this demand zone, which also gives us the impression that buyers are still still have the potentials of pushing price to the upside. So because of that, we will be holding any expectation on bearish momentum not until we see confirmations in the form of a breakdown, a real breakdown, significant breakdown of that demand zone, a retest of that demand zone, or probably this trend line. Then we might be looking for patterns or structures that will support a trend continuation to the downside on this one. So on the EURJPY, we're still going to be on hold on this one, and CAN 786, we just spoke about UKOil a couple of minutes ago. So that is that on EURJPY for now. So what was our conclusion on this? We are still going to hold on this pair. So moving on to GBPAUD, I think I spoke about GBPAUD, yes. So moving on to GBPCAD, okay, we spoke about GBPCAD. GBPCAD is already moving in our direction. And EURAUD, I don't know if I shared EURAUD yesterday. This is one of the pairs I actually took offline. I actually did not have this shared publicly, and it's already running in profit. So if you really want to take advantage of this trade, I think if you go to the daily time frame, what we're looking out for is selling opportunities, and this is basically because of the long-term bearish momentum we identified on the daily time frame. Despite the fact that we're having what looks more like a reversal setup around this area, we'll still think that price might still come down into this red trend line or the neckline of this reversal setup before that bullish move happen. So pending the time that happens, we want to take advantage of whatever selling opportunity comes before us at this point. So that is why I placed an entry point around this area, and we actually having price moving in our direction already. However, for those who really want to take advantage of this sell opportunity, who want to join me on this one, we can take advantage of this at okay, let us pull out our line chart, and then we find a trend line right above this level. We have one here, and then we have another one around this area, which we can play with at this point. So let's give this I would like because this is not a major one, let's make it a little bit thicker, less thicker rather. So we want to be looking for a possible rejection of that trend line one more time, then a setup that supports a trend continuation to the downside, then you can actually join this one on this. So I'm having my take profit target at 1.485250, but one thing I'm very sure of is as soon as price gets to 1.5 area, I'm going to move my stop loss to break even at this point, so that I didn't get caught out unexpectedly, as we are expecting a bullish move, and this is just only a counter trend opportunity considering the reversal structure we identified on the daily time frame. You said I uploaded this recently. I want to know when to trade or buy. Which pair are you talking about? Please clarify that. Okay. So that is that on Euro AUD. Then on USDJPY, unfortunately I hit stop loss on USDJPY yesterday, and I took my entry around this point and was waiting for we saw this signal yesterday. I was waiting for that signal to move very well, then a retest, then I'll have the other two position into but unfortunately after that signal, the signal was not strong enough. As you can see, let me zoom in closely so that we can have a look at what was happening around this area. So the signal was not strong enough, and we saw multiple rejections of 130.500 area before price moved to the downside. So in that regard, I got stopped out, and though we're still within that buy opportunity zone where we'll be looking for opportunities to take a buy on this one. So despite the fact we are right below that trend line, I'm still bullish on this one. I still hold my bullish bias. However, if we see, considering the breakdown of this, we have this breakdown, we saw this retest, then we saw something like this, then I want to be looking for probably price to go into that up a little bit, then give me a sort of reversal setup, then I might be going for that bearish move, probably to this key level at 129 area. However, that being said, we still need to just keep our fingers crossed on this pair, and let's see how price reacts as time goes by. So moving on to GBPUSD. Are you on this trade in GBPUSD? Okay, so price has already moved in our favor, and we're already running about we actually ran about 50-60 pips in profits, and now price appears to be going back down. So at this point, it's advisable that you move your stop loss to break even at this point, as we continue to look for more visible opportunities that will allow us to add more position if the case arises. So with this is what we have right now. We have this trend line, we have this reversal pattern, which is our neckline, we have this breakout of neckline here, which was our signal. Then we waited for a retest of this neckline, also this bullish trend line, after which we join the confirmation setup to the upside. So now what is happening at this point in time is this: we had the breakout of the structure here, we had the breakout of this trend line here, and price is doing what I call a retracement fade, probably into this area, after which we look for another reversal pattern to add more position to this trade. So on GBPUSD, I'm still patient on this one, and if we want to sell this one, if sell is going to actually happen on this one, then that will be if we have a breakdown of this trend line here and a retest, then we can't sell this one at this point. But if that does not happen, we are still profitable in this trade, and we shouldn't allow this candle running presently show to deter us or shake our feelings in this regard. So let's see how this candle runs. We still have 25 minutes left for this candle to be exhausted, and I'm still thinking it's probably going to be a retracement of that breakout we saw earlier and then continuation to the upside. However, if we have a breakdown of this trend line and retest, then we might be looking for something like a trend to the downside. So on EURAUD as well, a quick one on EURAUD here. I think I talked about EURAUD yesterday. Yes, I can remember we talked about EURAUD, and we were saying we were expecting a reversal pattern within this area, within this key level, to send price going down. But unfortunately, this reversal pattern there is happened right above that level. As you can see, we saw that reversal set up here, and right now we are at a neckline structure at this point. So let's go to the 4 hours time frame to now have a better look of what is happening at this point. So what this simply means that our key level is going to change, and it's going to move into that neckline we just identified now. So if we readjust and regroup, we're going to be having something like this, and so we're having our neckline right here, and sorry, we're having our key level right here. We have a support here, resistance, breakdown, resistance at this point, resistance at this point, support, resistance at this point. So we have it right at 1.37 now, so we will just adjust this label to 1.37, which is now going to be our new key level at this point in time. So going back to our candle chart pattern, remember we considered this long-term bearish momentum on this one, and consider the long-term bearish momentum. Definitely, if you see a sell opportunity, it's very advisable that you take one. Well, we cannot ignore the fact that we saw the breakout of that trend line here, where price did a breakout of that structure to the upside. Well, it could be a first one, we don't know, but the possibility that price will do a rejection of this trend line is still visible. So we still have around at least a minimum of let's see, give me a moment, we still have a minimum of like 100 pips to catch if you want to take a sell opportunity on this one. So with an entry point right around here, we want to be having a scenario where we have our take profit target right at let me see, if you look at this closely, you will notice that this is an impulse leg, and let's run our retracement through the impulse leg and then look for the golden zone area to catch our take profit target, at least for the meantime. So if we do that very well, we have something like this with our take profit target right on that trend line, sharing a confluence with that trend line, and we could probably be looking for a reversal pattern within that area to do a trend continuation to the upside. So considering long-term bearish momentum, I want to take a sell on this one. So we'll look forward to a take profit target. Let's say we can move it right into the 618, or let's put a 1.35700 area. So that's like 100 pips take profit target, and then we will be having, let's see what we can do for our stop loss at this point. So with a stop loss right above this level, and that's above, I think we should put it right above the key level, and that's like around 30 pips thereabouts. That's around 30 pips thereabouts. So to be our guide going forward into this into the US session, the New York session, we want to be identifying this trend line to be our guide and yardstick in conjunction with that key level we identified earlier. So we want to be having something like this right above that, so to be our guide going forward. So the possibility of price coming back into that level is still very visible. We never can tell when that will happen, but we could have something like this. We could have something like this. Price does that, and then we have that trend continuation to the downside. So this is what my expectation are on this one. So let's look at that for now, and then so that's that on EURAUD. Salam, salutes to you too. Majan, hi, how are you today? So this is this on EURAUD. So on New Zealand USD, okay, yes, someone said something about Euro USD earlier. Let's quickly go to Euro USD and see what's happening on Euro USD. Okay, on Euro USD, if we move to the daily time frame, definitely it's obvious that we've been on a downtrend for quite a while, and this has lasted over a year now, and the trend continuation still appears to be very, 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 very emphatic as we continue to find lower highs and lower lows at every point in time. However, if we zoom closely into what has been happening since the beginning of April, we saw price break down this demand zone mid-April to send price crashing further down into 1.047 area. So with this impulse leg identified here, then we say we have something to work around with at this point in time. So if we move scale down to a much lower time frame, let's say the 4 hours time frame for instance, we can see that after that impulse leg we had a consolidation phase around this area. You look at it, after this impulse leg we had a consolidation phase since late April into the new month. We had this breakout, which probably can be seen as a false breakout at the moment, and then we see price continue to do a consolidation around this area, giving us a sign that we might be having an indecision in market where participants are actually waiting for an important news or event to guide decision at this point in the market. However, if we look at this technically as well, we'll see that price is right within a channel, which makes it more like a bearish rectangle. We have a bearish rectangle right at this point, and according to theory, if you look at a bearish rectangle, we are looking for a breakout of that structure as a signal, a retest, a confirmation to sell this pair. However, that being noted, it is pertinent that we look into what the structure is giving us closely to be able to determine where we want to be going on this one. First of all, we need to consider the long-term bearish momentum. That is one. And two, we need to consider that impulse leg that we saw here. And remember that after every impulse leg there is always a retracement phase, which will probably go into the golden zone area, which is always between the 50 and 78.6% retracement of the impulse leg, where we will be looking for an opportunity to take another sell to the downside. So if we bring out our retracement tool and run it through that impulse leg, we'll have something like this, and then we'll have our golden zone right around this area where definitely we want to be looking for selling opportunities at this point. Mind you, what I'm talking about here is a long-term perspective, as selling opportunity. Let's place this inside. So let's place this inside here, and we might be looking for that. And for that to happen, definitely we must be looking, there must be a bullish momentum that will break out of the structure and set price going to that side. So what does that mean is this: if we have bullish potentials forming, aligning, then we still have around the 150 pips they are about to catch on a counter trend opportunity if you are the one that normally takes a counter trend. So that's been said. So now let's look closely into the consolidation phase and see what we can identify from that. So bringing down my line chart, the first thing first, let's draw a trend line. And here we have a trend line that we could work around with, and we can see price has been rejecting this trend line since the 5th of May. Every time price touches that trend line, then we saw multiple rejection of that trend line. However, if we want to take our sell opportunity around this area, then definitely we want to be looking out for a breakout of this trend line, a retest of this trend line or this supply zone here. Then we'll join the rally at a sign, that at a signal that supports a trend continuation to the upside. So there are two scenarios here on this one. One is that we look for breakout of structure to take a buy opportunity, or we wait for price to come into the sell opportunity zone to actually sell this pair. So let's look at what's happening on, let's say, the lower time frame. I think 30 minutes will be fine. So now I want to see what's happening on the 30 minutes time frame. So on the 30 minutes time frame, I think we are seeing higher lows right now. If we bring out our line chart at this point and we draw a trend line right underneath this, we can see that we have a what's it called, a bullish momentum, and forming into what looks more like a triangle, and like I said, a breakout of this one will be a signal that we want to buy this pair. So a breakout, a retest, then we see structure supporting a trend continuation to the upside, we buy this pair, and our take profit target right within the sell opportunity zone will be most appropriate. So if we want to have a key level for our buy opportunity, we are going to have something like this. We want to look for an area where support and resistance have emerged. Then we have right at 105,800 as a level we can actually look at for bullish potentials at this point. So we want to be looking for a break above of that key level, a retest of that key level to buy, to do a counter trend opportunity to the upside with about 150 pips target, or you wait patiently for a sell opportunity to come from this area to join the rally. It's very dicey to actually trade within this consolidation phase, because you can easily get soaked into what is not happening at this point in time. Let me use that word, what is not happening, because for me this is just noise. Or unless you are probably a short-term trader, you want to take trades between this rally, that's like 50-70 pips profits thereabout. So you want to be taking trade from this supply zone to the demand, supply zone to the demand, but I'm not a fan of that anyway. So on a long-term perspective, this is what I'm looking at. Okay, how long is the long-term phase? For the Euro USD, well, what long-term phase? What do you mean by long-term phase? We don't know. We can't tell how long the long-term phase will be. It's only price movement that will determine how that is, and probably news or event releases that comes up to push price further. It could take a day. It could take a week. We don't know. We don't know. It's only the price movement that will determine how long it's going to take. So I think that answers your question. Wangs, I hope I answered your question. Joshua, sure, please do. You have the floor. Ask me. You're welcome, Wangs. Salam, Akman. Joshua, you want to ask a question? Please do. So I move on to XAUUSD. Did you take that trade on XAUUSD yesterday? Who took that trade on XAUUSD yesterday? Who took that trade on XAUUSD yesterday? We were talking about the sell opportunity here. I don't know, and it took about 1,000. Josh, of course you can earn money. Of course, if you are not earning money, no one will be here. Of course, you can earn money on this one. So okay, Jock, all right. Kudos to you too as well. Okay, so that is that on this one. So on XAUUSD, we actually took about 1,200 pips profits on the sell opportunity, which I said, despite the fact that I'm looking for a long-term bullish momentum on the gold, we were able to take a short-term trade yesterday of about 1,200 pips to the bags. However, if we go closely into the bullish buyers I identified yesterday, let's look at it together one more time. This is what I was talking about. This is what I shared yesterday. This is the screen I used yesterday, where I said the multiple rejection. We were at this point yesterday, where I said the multiple rejection happening at this point is giving us sign that a selling opportunity is coming, which for me at that point was actually a short term. So that is why our take profit target was at 1847, and we saw that engulfing candle that strike through that level to close around 1,000 pips in profit for on this one. So if you are taking that gold trade yesterday, kudos to you, and well done to you if you are taking that opportunity. Now what do we have on the gold as price action? As let's see what price action is revealing so far. So I would like to delete this one since it's no longer relevant at this point. Give me a moment, please. Give me a moment to delete all this, and then let's see what we have here on gold. Okay, now with gold, we now have a breakdown of a demand level that has been holding price action since the beginning of the month, and this is what we have at this point. So we now have a breakdown of that key level. We have a breakdown of the demand zone, and now price appears to be doing a retest of that demand zone, and we don't know if price is going to respect this trend line, where we will be looking for structures that will support a trend continuation to the downside. So with this information we have now, this breakdown information, it's a very significant signal at this point. So what we want to be doing at this point is we want to be adjusting our key level. Yesterday our key level was at this for buying potentials. Now we have a sell potential happening right now, as this breakdown of structure is telling us. So if we want to adjust our key level right now, our key level will be somewhere around here or here, I think, or here. So let's see how that works out. Is it 1860? Let me bring out my candle code. Okay, I think we have somewhere around I think 1860 will do. Or okay, I think we have a rejection here. So I think 1860 does that. So we have a key level sitting right at $1,860. Now that we have that, and we have our demand zone broken here, so demand zone has this demand zone appears to have ended its phase, and definitely since we had that breakdown of that demand zone, now we'll be looking for a new supply zone, and that will probably be around this area. If you wouldn't mind, I draw this from this point. So we will be having our supply zone right at this area now. This will serve as our new supply zone. So for clarity's sake, allow me to label this, and let's see what happens afterwards. So we have, let's give it a red. Okay, so we have that now. So let me delete this. So we already know it's a breakdown of that structure. So what we want to be looking out for too is this. We've identified a supply zone here, and considering this breakdown, then we will be looking at this impulse leg here as a yardstick going forward. So after every impulse leg, we normally have a retracement phase, and if we spool out our Fibonacci retracement tool, then we'll be having let's see, a retracement phase within this area. I think let's put it around here. So within this golden zone will be our retracement phase, and so what this means is there is likely the possibility of a breakout of that trend line, that bearish trend line, something like this. We might be having something like this where price does to the downside. So however, it is more safer at this point to actually enter a trade right below this key level, which will actually give us more confirmations that we are going down. However, if price as the day goes by goes into $1,880, then we look for reversal patterns within that area, then we can actually add another position at that point. First of all, we are not adding right away now, no pending orders yet. We want to see price go right above, then come down to meet our stop, our sell stop. So we really need to be patient on this one. So we look for structures within this area. If we can see a reversal pattern, let's say double top or inverse head and shoulder, 1 2 3 reversal pattern, whatever reversal pattern you can identify, probably a pennant, a rising wedge, whatever it is that comes up, we look for our entry right at the breakout of the structure of that reversal pattern. Then we take that trade. Then if price comes below this area too as well from that supply zone, then it's another opportunity for us to take advantage of that sell opportunity if it happens. So we will be having a take profit target if we project this impulse leg into the future and fall right at 1272.2 from this area. Then we'll be having something like this. So let's have we can have 1815 for this at least, and then that's around 5,000 pips. Then we look for ways to start moving our stop loss as soon as price moves in our direction. I think this is what I will be expecting on the gold. In the meantime, in the meantime. So that is that on gold. So what do we talk on? It's we already talked about GBPAUD, GBPCAD, UKOil. We talked about EURJPY. We talked about EURAUD. We talked about the USDJPY. We talked about the GBPUSD, and then we talked about gold too as well. GBPCHF. Yesterday, price hit my stop loss at this area. So I had a stop loss around this area. You know, I told you about the entry at this point at 1.2222600. Yes. So I placed the stop loss at that level, and I was able to close with just how many pips? From this area to this area was just about 46 pips on this one. Price just crashed down. I don't know why, but for me it looks like price is coming to retest this trend line one more time, and as price forms that trend, as price forms this, it is looking more like a reversal pattern where we might be looking for a bearish momentum for the pound in the following hours, I guess, where we'll be seeing a breakdown retest of that bearish trend line. So if we want to look at this, let me delete this. We no longer need this anymore, and let's see what is happening right now at this point in time without any bias whatsoever in mind. So let's go to a higher time frame and let's see what is happening. We can see that we've been on a downtrend for a while, and we can actually draw a trend line, a bearish trend line, connecting the series of lower highs at this point, and you can see what is happening. Let's make this a little bit thicker and give this a red to emphasize the supply tendencies of this market. And the reason why we took the buy was because of this demand zone that has been holding for quite some time. It has a buying memory that has lasted over a year, and as you can see, this as the structure we are having around here is more of a rejection, as it appears that we are having a new supply zone around here. So allow me to label this for clarity's sake. So it appears we're having a new supply zone around this area, and we never can tell if this move is going to break down this this demand zone. So for me personally, I will just hold on and let's see how price reacts in the next couple of hours or days to decide after which you can now decide what to do on this one. However, let me see if it's possible to take any trade on a lower time frame. On a lower time frame, yes, we have something that looks more like a reversal pattern here. We have this, we have this. It looks more like a reversal pattern where we look for breakdown of structure to say, but I will just, because of the strong demand zone around this area, it's too short to take a sell trade. Just about how many pips? That's like just 100 pips. It's very risky for me at this point, so I want to see breakdown of structure to actually give me a signal, breakout of structure to give me a signal to sell the pound against the Swiss franc. So I think that is that on GBPCHF today. So let's quickly run through what we talked about today, and let's see how price has been doing before I close for today. So UKOil, a quick revisit on UKOil. What are we saying on UKOil? What was our decision on UKOil? Okay, we said we are not going to buy until we see a breakout of neckline, of this neckline at 106, a retest of it to buy. And then we said take profit for buy will be around 112, which if we look left, we can see structure supporting selling opportunities from this area before we. That's why we have 112 as our take profit target. And then I also said that the possibility of a selling opportunity is also here on the lower time frame, where if we see a breakdown of this trend line, we might be looking for opportunity to sell at 104.69 with a take profit target of around 98.5 or 99.5 thereabouts for a short term opportunity. So that is that on the UKOil. Then we talked about EURJPY, where I said we just need to hold on this one, as we need to look for signals that will support a move. And despite the fact we had a bullish bias on this one and price is still right above that demand zone, if we want to sell this, we want to be looking for a breakdown of structure, a retest to sell this pair. And if we want to buy, we want to be looking for a breakout of that trend line for a signal, retest for confirmation to join the rally to the upside. That's that on EURJPY. Then on GBPAUD, I already said we are already running in profit on this one, as we have 3 positions running already with an approximate of about over 150 160 pips there, about running in profit on this one if you had the 3 positions together. And we're having our take profit target at 168. So at this point in time, it's probably advisable that we move our stop loss to our third entry at 1.76820 and hold on. Let's see how if price is going to hit our take profit target. And then on GBPCAD, we're already running in profit on GBPCAD already, and we have our other 2 positions still on standby, though one has already been triggered. Then we still look forward to a positive one on GBPCAD, as we expect price to move in our direction. And I said something yesterday that as soon as price gets to somewhere around this area, we should keep locking our profit, because there's a tendency that we could have a reversal pattern form around this area to send price going to the upside. So that's that on GBPCAD. Then on EURAUD, we're already profitable on EURAUD, and I said for those who have missed EURAUD, you should hold on for price to come back into this trend line, which will be our guide going forward. And if we see a trend price coming to this trend at any point in time, we could take advantage of a trend continuation to the downside. Even if price gets to this level and to this level here, even if price, hold on a second, if price comes to the level, comes above, you still have opportunity of taking that trend continuation to the downside. That's that on EURAUD. Then on USDJPY, I made mention of the fact that I hit stop loss on USDJPY yesterday. My expectation did not yield. And why was that? We saw this move yesterday. We saw this move yesterday. We were expecting price to go further up, where we see a rejection of this area with a confirmation setup where we can add the other 2 positions to this trade. However, things did not go as expected, as we saw price crash down into our stop loss area and took us out. However, it is pertinent that we note that we are still within that buy opportunity zone area, which we identified during the course of yesterday's session, and we can see we're still looking forward to opportunities from this area. So if I were you, I'll be looking for opportunities on lower time frame that supports a bullish continuation to the upside on this one. So that being said, also I said a sell opportunity cannot be ignored as well, and that can only happen if we see a breakdown of this trend line, which has already happened, and we want to see a rejection of that trend line to give us confirmations that we are actually going bearish. So with this said, for bearish momentum, we want to be looking for a retest of this area to send price going down, like something like this, where we see price do a rejection of this area to send price crashing down. So that's that for the USDJPY. And on GBPUSD, I said we were in profit in GBPUSD, and I advised that we move our stop loss to break even at this point. We have two trades running. Like I said, you can see one at 123,238 and 123,266, and price is still profitable on this one. And we saw the breakout of this neckline, and price appears to be doing a rejection of this, doing a retracement into the retest of this trend line, and probably might be seeing a trend continuation to the upside. So on this one, we should use this bullish trend line as our yardstick going forward. Any breakdown below this trend line should definitely be a warning sign that a bearish momentum is on the way. So trade consciously on this one. Then on EURAUD, we talked about selling opportunities on this one, and I shared the reason why I'm going to sell, and the reason is basically because on the daily time frame, on higher time frame, we see that we are on a downtrend continuation, and despite the fact that we saw a reversal pattern around this area, we're still a reversal pattern and a breakout of structure, we're still expecting that price will still want to do a retest of structure where it can give us confirmation to join a bullish trend continuation to the upside. But in the meantime, while the bullish setup is evolving, we might have an opportunity to take the trend to the downside. That is the counter trend that we're expecting, as we can see on the 1 hour time frame, that we have what looks more like a double top structure, where we're waiting for a breakdown of structure to give us a signal, a retest, a confirmation where we can actually add more positions to this trade down to this area we are looking at around 100 pips on this one. So that is that for today, and I do hope you enjoyed this session, and I I love you too. Uh, okay, it's good to have you around. Thank you for the compliments. I'm grateful. I'm glad. So let's look at what happens between now and tomorrow, and we'll look at our positions one more time again, and let's see where we at and what we can still do as price action is being monitored. So on this note, I want to thank you for being around, and I wish you a wonderful, blissful, and lucky day. Thank you.